Now that I'm between classes, I thought it would be a good opportunity to make you guys a new video about the experiences I've had at University of the People so far. I started back at the end of 2016 and I have successfully completed several courses since then, not actually taking a break actually at all since I started. So it's been an interesting experience so far, and now that I'm actually officially in the computer science track, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, completing all of my general education requirements, almost one more class to go with that, and then now officially starting my major courses, which I'm very excited about. Um, so I do apologize for the sparse video uploads. I haven't made a video probably since maybe 6 months after I started. It might even be longer than that. But I am the queen of procrastination, and I'm also a little anxious getting in front of a video to talk to everybody, potentially through the entire world. So I'm sorry about that. Um, so yeah, I've completed. Well, I submitted I completed the process of transferring all of the courses that I've taken at previous universities into the courses here at University of the People. And what surprised me was I previously I was taking. I think I was at my other university. I was gonna be in the English writing course, which is a humanities major, but they wanted I guess, lesser math than this school wanted to continue on. This school wants basically what is a pre-calculus course. I think my other school wanted intermediate algebra or something like that, which I passed successfully. And when I tried to transfer that over, they didn't accept it. So I had to take the pre-calculus and trig course, which was it was challenging, but it was really fun for me because I've always enjoyed math and science related subjects, and that course was challenging, but ultimately fun. The one thing about that course in particular was I tried to take it with another course a few terms ago, and I had to drop it because it was a lot of work to do with my job and my life in general. So I had to drop that to to take it by itself. And I think I mentioned that briefly in another video, but ultimately, yeah, I did take that course and I did complete it, and it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I just needed more time to focus on that. So if you're thinking about becoming a student, just keep in mind that some of the courses are pretty intensive. So if you want to if you want to like structure it a little more, if you have a busy life, if you have a family or something, it would be important for you to take the more difficult classes maybe one at a time. Um, so this video is going to be kind of an honest review, but also I want to let you guys know right off the bat that I am not in any way, shape, or form displeased with my overall experience at University of the People. I am very happy, and I'm pleased to have the opportunity to be at University of the People. Of course, with a uh, entirely new type of university, there are going to be issues to overcome, and I want to discuss those a little bit. I also want to let you know I'm not terribly active in their Yammer community. There seems to be a lot of people that do Yammer. I don't like the platform. I think it's really disorganized and confusing, and I'm not really interested in doing that. I did become a moderator of the University of the People subreddit, which I have not yet been active in, but and there's not too much in the way of information on the subreddit there yet, but I want that to change. So if you guys like Reddit, if you want to start posting over there, then maybe we could get something going over there. I mean, there's just not a lot going on in the way of student interaction or graduate interaction in really any online forum for people to see. There's a little bit, but want to kind of step that up a bit, in my opinion. I'll try to do that, try to help you out there. Um, so yeah, I want to talk about my experiences so far, but I also want to let you guys know that although I'm discussing some negative things, I'm about to discuss some negative things, I am still overwhelmingly happy about my experience here. And I want to continue taking programming courses and computer science courses, and I'm very eager to do that. So yeah, let me talk about some of the negative aspects, a lot of things that have been frustrating me over the past year or so. The first one being, I find myself missing the classroom experience, physically being in a classroom. There are some drawbacks with online learning, and I never, when I was when I went to other colleges, I usually only would take an online course if there were no other options. If I needed that course and I wanted to take it that term, or that semester, and the only available option was online, then I would begrudgingly take it. But some of the discussions in the discussion forums at this school, I feel like, are not really of high quality. Um, some of the student posts are just kind of lacking in formatting. I don't know how this is possible, but a lot of times you'll see a post that's just like totally spread out, and it's like this long, and it's like taking up the whole page, and you can't, I mean, you do read it because it's your job to read it. You have to look and see what other students are saying, but it's kind of frustrating to read that when the sentences are so spaced out for some reason. It's like a copy and paste issue. I don't know what the deal is with that, but not only that, but some of the posts are, just one or two sentence answers that have no substance. It's just a repeat of what the book says, or I mean, I don't understand. It's like people throw them together in the 5 minutes they have before the deadline, and everyone's supposed to just respond to that. Um, I'm not saying, I admit that I'm the queen of procrastination, but at least I'm putting effort into my posts. They might be somewhat last minute, but which not all the time. Most of the time I'm trying to get them in, and I'll talk about the discussion forum in more detail a little bit later, but I'm trying to get them in on time, but at least, I'm trying to do way more than the minimum. These students are not even doing the minimum. It's just one or two sentence answers for each of the sections of the post. And that's not acceptable to me. The time zone differences are another problem. Being in school with, people from all over the world is really cool, but when you have people up, late at night, my time, and I'm posting, late at night their time, it gets a little strange. You can't really have in real time discussions with people, especially because you have all week to post in the discussion forums. So you can post early, say Saturday morning, and then by Tuesday there's still no activity in the discussion forum, or maybe like one or two other people posting, and then by Wednesday when it's due, you have other things going on. You've already done that part of the assignment, so you're not necessarily going to go back in. But that's when everybody posts. You have everybody posting the last minute. So you kind of have to get in, even if you've got other things going on, to see what other people are saying. Otherwise, you're not going to feel like you're being a part of the course, even though you're doing your assignments, which is another thing. The discussion forum, the way that it is, some students feel a time pressure to post early on before they've completed the reading or the assignments. And when you do that, you don't have a chance to answer the question properly, or you'll just Google search some answers and put, whatever you think, and then of course cite your sources, but Google searching some answers versus reading what the materials are supposed to be for that week, it's not really a good substitution. And a lot of students end up, maybe not reading the assignment because they've already done all of the work that they were supposed to do by Google searching. And so what's the point of reading the text now that they've completed everything? So it's kind of like a time issue with that. If you're supposed to post early on in the week, so other students can see and have an opportunity throughout the week to read what you said and respond to it. But if you do that, you don't have enough time to read, as I've said. And so the trade-off is, if you wait until later in the week, maybe after you've completed the assignments and the reading, you might have a better post, but it's not enough time for everybody to get together and respond or read what you said. And then if you post too early, then you end up, actually one student would, I knew one student who posted like right as soon as the week started, and somehow did that. But it was just all incorrect answers because they were taking a guess based on their previous knowledge what the answer would be, which just confuses a bunch of people. And I tried to explain that as well, but it's just a time issue for everybody. So I think, I mean, I don't know how to solve that problem. Just one of the things that's not as good in an online school versus an in-person discussion. Another issue is that students necessarily are not corrected by the professor when they're wrong. I had one professor who was phenomenal at doing that, and I appreciate that very much. But a lot of times the discussion forums are just mostly student run, so students will post things in the discussion forum that aren't necessarily true. Don't cite their sources. Students are students, and you're there to learn, right? I mean, you shouldn't be afraid of being wrong, but at the same time, there should be someone guiding the answers. If a student posts something that's not necessarily correct or is harmful to the environment in some way, to the learning environment in some way, then they should step in and say something. But I haven't noticed. A lot of times I've been seeing some posts that are just completely off topic, and no one is really saying anything to them. I mean, if I feel like I want to respond to that, I will. It's just very few people feel like they can step in and say something. As being a student, there's a lot of shyness involved. Like, well, what if I say something that's also equally wrong? And that could be true too, but it's just better to have a discussion. That's the whole point of the forum. And finally, one of the most frustrating things about the discussion forum is the students that just reply, "Good work. I liked your discussion post. 10 out of 10. That doesn't really help anybody. If you say that and someone's like, "Yeah, I got 10 out of 10, but they were just completely off topic, or they didn't really contribute at all to the discussion forum," then you should tell them that. If you feel like you weren't really enriched by that person's discussion, then we're all in this together, so say that, or say, "I feel like you should have put more work into your discussion." I mean, I will say those things. I will also bring up, there have been some fantastic posts by people who absolutely read and absolutely are interested in the assignment, and write all kinds of amazing things, and I've given good replies to people like that. And I try to do that myself, but sometimes it's just kind of the luck of the draw based on the kind of students that you'll get in the courses. And sometimes it's just filled with people who have an entire lifetime of experience to offer the rest of the students. And sometimes it's just people who are just hoping to get by. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the materials, and I would say from the school, the materials are really great. I think the materials are probably one of the main sources of education that you'll receive. So it's very important to read the text or read the links that they send you. Because not only are the exams and the quizzes going to be pulled from that material, but that's the strongest place that you'll find that has the material to learn to build upon your skills from previous courses in order to have like an entire competency when you graduate. It's not going to be necessary. Like, you can't depend on the students, you can't depend on the teachers. Unfortunately, it's all volunteer, so the professors are there just to be a guide. Some of them are obviously better than others at doing that. So you can't depend on anyone but your own self-motivated attitude to get the education that you need to graduate and to produce something in society once you're done. So if you don't have intellectual curiosity, if you're not self-motivated, if you're not intrinsically motivated, you may not succeed here. That's one of the issues that a lot of students are facing, is that they need more hand holding, they need more guidance than is provided. There are resources that the university does offer for students who need that, but the university is still relatively new, so there's just a lot more that needs to happen in order for those students to feel like they can, have meaningful experience here. I'm not sure though. It's an online medium, so being online means that you have to either organize from people that you know in real life that can help you, or just find online communities. And a lot of times people that need that sort of hand holding are not going to reach out to other people. They're just going to, I don't know, try their best with what they have, and then if they don't succeed, I don't feel like that's a failing of the university. I feel like that's a failing of people not realizing that if they need more help, they should seek it out. So that's one of the issues that I think a lot of students are facing, is that if they're not strong self-learners, then there's going to be a problem. There are plenty of places in the real world to turn. If you just look online, I'm sure there's somebody. So, for students that feel that way, try very hard to look online for other support options for you. Yeah, you won't succeed as a passive observer. So if you're the kind of person that really needs the hand holding, it's not going to work. And I think going forward in the future of the work environment that there are these days, work environments that are out there these days, just involves a lot of people who are self-motivated learners, who can keep up with technology, who can spend a lot of time, developing their own skill set. It's not going to be someone telling you to do something that's going to get you ahead. It's going to be you deciding and looking at what you have and what resources you're given, determining your weaknesses, and going out and strengthening them. I think that this school teaches that sort of, mentality. So get that, and that's how eventually you're going to figure out how to be a stronger individual in the future, is to be able to understand your weaknesses and go out there and try to strengthen them. I am not the best person at speaking on camera, and I'm still kind of anxious right now, but here I am. I'm talking to you people about this school and about how excited I am, and hopefully as I make more videos, I'll become more comfortable talking in front of a camera. Right now, I'm kind of anxious, but I'm doing it. So, and I have a lot to say about this school, so we shall continue. Yeah, so some students and teachers, I know I've said a lot about some of the negative students and teachers, but some students and teachers really are phenomenal. So when you find a student who is as excited as you are to be there, or when you find a teacher who will continue, with the class no matter how much it might deteriorate, then you need to communicate with those people and you need to engage with them whenever possible. I strongly recommend that, because those people are going to be the ones that you can learn from the most, especially if someone's like, I have lived an entire career in, whatever it is that you're studying, computer science, but I never got my degree, and here I am trying to get my degree. Those people are going to be your greatest resource. Those people know what it's like to be in the field, and especially if they don't have a degree, that's one thing. You can develop skills and not get a degree. So just because they don't have a degree doesn't mean anything really. if they have found a way to have a career in computer science without a degree, then especially talk to those people, because they have a gift for self-learning and they know what it takes. So, engage with them when you can. Yeah, I know I've talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'm especially frustrated with the level of effort some students put into their studies. Like I said, one or two sentence answers to some of the questions to me is just unacceptable. The questions are meant to be thought-provoking. They're meant to teach you something about the world. If you really can't muster up the effort to put more than one or two sentences as an answer, really, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting the other students as well, because we are all here to learn from each other. And if everyone is doing that, then we're not learning from anybody. We're just posting answers to get a grade, which with the model that University of the People uses, is not going to work for anybody. So I strongly urge you to take the courses seriously, as if you're not the only person that is impacted. Because ultimately, in the real world, you have other people depending on you. When you go into the workforce, if you put forth minimal effort and a project fails because of that, then there are consequences, and there are consequences here too. So this school will prepare you for the real world in that aspect. If you want to go and have a career, you have to be able to understand your role in whatever organization you join and fulfill that role. So in this school, your role is important. Every student's role is important in this school, which may differ from other schools where you have like an entire lecture hall filled with people and no one ever raises their hand because the teacher's just up there for an hour talking about whatever it is the subject is. And it's not that kind of course. So you can't be a passive observer. You can't expect the class to go well if you put forth a minimal effort, because everyone else will suffer. And I really strongly encourage you to spend as much time as possible, and time is a limited resource, I understand that, but spend as much time as possible trying to figure out how you can squeeze an extra hour into every day to study for, ultimately the discussion forum, because the discussion forums, in my opinion, need improvement. They are probably the most frustrating source for me right now the source with the most frustration in terms of like the class in general, because a lot of times it's just we all just need to improve the discussion forums, and the school can't improve the discussion forums because it ultimately has to do with participation. So if you feel like, and I'm not perfect, there are times when I post on Wednesdays too. I mean, that's kind of not really good to post on the last day. Life doesn't always go perfectly, but when you're consistently posting at the very last minute and it's just not like quality work, then there's a problem. So please, if you're doing that, please consider, for everyone's sake, spending a little bit more time doing that. I think we would all appreciate it and have a more enriched experience. Another thing is, I really appreciate the fact that this school is a global school, and I'm here because I want a global perspective. And I would really like it if more people from around the world did more than just answer the questions, but came at it from, their perspective. And that interests me a great deal. I don't have a lot of I've never been to another country, and I want to know what other people think in those countries. Of course, there are places that you can go online, and there's Reddit and a lot of other websites where people from other countries are posting. But in this school especially, I want to it's a matter of coming together with a common goal, from everyone in the world. And that is a unique experience in itself, and I think is a very important one. So if people could, you know, put more of their own personal, you know, viewpoints into the discussion forums, and that would also enrich the rest of us as well. Um, finally, I would really like to talk about, though this is the last negative aspect I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about the cheating. The amount of cheating that goes on in this school is quite unacceptable. The first course that you take, Online Education Strategies, is here to teach you how to be a successful online learner. They talk extensively about not only completely ignoring to cite your sources. That's one type of cheating. If you don't cite your sources, that's plagiarism. It's very important to do that. A lot of people still are not doing that, and you need to cite your sources. Another is just straight up copy and paste from a website, thinking that no one will notice that you copy and pasted from a website. I've got some news for you. If you copy and paste from a website, you will get caught. I promise you. There are people like me. If I think somebody plagiarized something, I'm going to copy and paste your work to an online plagiarism checker, and I'm going to find where you got your material. There have been several instances of students doing that I have reported to the professor, and disciplinary action has been taken. I don't understand anyone who thinks they can get away with that. And there was even one example. For people who are not current University of the Student or University of the People students, we have an assignment that we must write, a written assignment on certain weeks that you submit that are peer graded, which I think is a very interesting concept, but you know, I'll talk about that probably in another video. And I literally one time there were 2 students. So each week we get 3. If we have a written assignment, the following week we have 3 students that we must grade their work on. And 2 of the 3 had exactly the same wording. I am not even joking. Exactly the same wording. So I copy and pasted and found exactly where those students pulled their material from, and I emailed the professor because I don't understand how someone could think that copy and pasting is going to get them an A, especially if if you're grading 2 assignments that have the exact same wording. I'm not going to say that if you're going to copy and paste, or if you're going to cheat like that in general, you should at least change the wording a bit. But here we are talking about people who don't do that. Here we are talking about people who are cheating to get an A, and it's not going to work. I promise you. I am going to be the person who will go online and search for where you got your material, because it's not fair to the rest of us that we all have to study and create an assignment and work at it, and you're going to copy and paste from the internet. It's not really it's not that gets me upset the most. I think that person that cheats can't contribute to the discussion forum because they haven't actually learned anything. So we're all suffering, and I'm suffering because I have to read 2 of the same assignments and not learning anything from them, or barely learning anything from them, because it's something I could have read online anyway if I wanted to. So people just don't understand that we are depending on each other. We really very strongly are depending on each other to learn, and it's important to not cheat for that exact reason. Don't even think about cheating. Just don't do it. Don't cheat. If you are having problems understanding the material, There are resources for that. There are people that you can turn to. There are a lot of I haven't really used, I mean, the school has a lot of resources. There's a writing center. There's some other things that you could do. Online education strategies teaches you who to turn to if you're having trouble with the material and what to do. So it's not like, that could be a good excuse. And plus, if you're not understanding the material, there's tons of stuff online that you don't need to copy and paste from. Khan Academy has been fantastic for me. If it wasn't for Khan Academy, I don't even know if I would be able to get some of the grades that I have gotten. But I never copy and pasted. You just go, you watch some videos. It makes more sense. It really makes a lot more sense if you watch some videos. So there are just things that you can do. Please change your strategy if you think you're going to cheat. Please do not cheat. It's not going to help you. You're not going to be able to continue the courses if you continuously cheat, because at some point you're going to get caught. And also, if you're not learning the material, how do you expect to learn the material of the next course or the following course? It's just not a sustainable thing to do. And I strongly recommend taking alternative options if you feel like you're going to cheat. Okay, so that all being said, I'm still learning a great deal about what exactly I don't know in terms of how to be like a global citizen. The world is a lot more complicated than most people realize. You can't sum things up universally with regards to human culture. So I used to think of things a great deal more with a great deal more, I guess, ethnocentrism, feeling like, and I'm American, and we all know, Americans can sometimes be a bit ethnocentric. So I'm trying to fix that about myself, and this school is really helping me to do that. So it's just a lot more challenging to have a global perspective than I think people realize, because you're going to have a lot of conflicting beliefs, you're going to have a lot of clashes, you're going to have a lot more differences of opinion in terms of where you fit in global society. So I'm learning a lot about my own abilities and my mental hangups and how to improve those. And I'm also learning about my curiosities and my desires. So the school itself, even though I've taken 2 programming courses. I've taken Introductory Programming and Programming 1, which are both available for anybody to take regardless of your major. So I haven't really done much in the way of major courses yet, but I am kind of learning the humanities aspect of that, which is like where I am in the world, and I'm kind of defining my own place right now. So, and everybody goes through that. So, especially if you are in college, your first couple of years of college, you're kind of learning. And I feel it even more in this school because, there's so many different perspectives coming at you, which I appreciate. I don't want to be stuck in some small cultural bubble where, the outside is kind of happening, but I'm isolated from them. I don't want to feel isolated. Even if it is more comfortable, I want to feel uncomfortable with certain things. I want other people to make me feel uncomfortable, because that's how you grow. That's how you learn. And I'm grateful for the opportunity for the structured learning here at the school, when my credit score might prevent me from having a degree from another university or getting an education in general. I'm eager to be in this school. I am as eager to be in this school as when I started back at the end of 2016, even more so now that I'm officially in the computer science track. I, I really find it to be quite fun, and I am eager to challenge myself in the future and figure things out for myself, which is a big part of computer science, is just sitting down and thinking about it to solve a problem. And that's something that it's a skill that I need to develop in myself. And I want to make more videos too. Not really much to say in terms of the humanities courses yet, just because I have a great deal of experience with humanities courses, and other than the things that I've said so far, I don't really have much else to say. But in terms of computer science, I want to make more videos because I feel like I need to show people that it is possible to go from having absolutely no knowledge of a technical skill to being able to, engineer some programs in the amount of time that it takes to attend school here. So I really want to do that, and I want to show the world that that's possible. And graduate students, no, well, not graduate students, but students who have graduated from University of the People, I'd really like to hear from you, because I was thinking about the things that it would take to kind of have a good career in the future once I do graduate. And I think that people need to develop a way to set themselves apart as University of the People students. There's still a lot of people in the corporate world, or in the world, that might feel like it's not a valuable degree. So it's important to prove those people wrong and tell them that and show them that it is actually a good degree program. So develop a way to set yourself apart. Another thing that I think would be important for students thinking about what they're going to do with their lives once they graduate is to develop a portfolio. um, I'm not sure exactly how students in the health sciences track would do that, or business administration. Those are both services, but computer science, you can develop a portfolio. You can make some programs or some things that will help you land a job. I think it's also kind of important to practice your people skills, because the fact that this is an online program, a lot of people might think that you are like a basement dweller, somebody who's just shut in all the time and doesn't know how to work with others. If you are one of those people, and trust me, I have anxiety too. Um, so if you're one of those people, I think it's important to be able to develop people skills, because when you go for interviews, then they're going to want to be impressed with your ability to communicate your knowledge. Um, and if you're kind of shy and quiet, that might not work well. So, um, I think that if you get involved with Reddit, maybe we can, I mean, you guys can brainstorm with me, but I think we need to have a broader community somewhere other than Yammer. I don't like Yammer. If you guys like it, that's cool, but I don't like it. um, I want to take additional programs on some things on Coursera. There are two specializations that I'm eyeing. One is the data science specialization, which I want to do definitely when I graduate, because I don't have the prerequisite knowledge for that right now. But then also the video game development specialization. I was reading about that recently, and they said that you don't necessarily need to have programming experience to take it, but it certainly helps. So I think anyone can really take that. It just looks like a lot of fun, and I love video games, and I've been playing with the idea of maybe downloading Blender and learning how to 3D animate. I don't know, it just sounds fun. But who knows, right? I'm not the kind of person that has something set in stone for when I graduate. I'm just riding the waves right now and see where it goes. But those two specializations on Coursera seem really interesting to me, and I think that if I develop a portfolio and practice, talking to people here on YouTube, that might be a way to set myself apart in addition to these other specializations on Coursera. Because eventually I want to go to like an established university after this to get my master's and then ultimately a PhD. That's something that interests me a great deal. I've always loved education and I like to be in school. It's just always been a struggle for me to maintain any kind of living situation. So, this school is making it possible for me to get an education and still support myself. So, um, that's actually all I have to say right now. And if anyone has any comments, I would definitely like to hear that. Again, I really want to hear from graduates. I want to hear from people who have struggled to go through the interview process, the obstacles, how you overcame them, what you do now. I know there are tons of graduates. Um, Not really sure how to find them, but if you are one and you're watching my videos, then I would really like to hear from you about that. I think the entire student body at University of the People would like to hear from you about that. So please post comments. You can email me personally. Um, and I'd really like to hear from you. So thank you again for watching my video. I know I have a tendency to make long ones, but ultimately, I hope that you found it to be rewarding. Thank you.